Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Shamong Township Committee meeting of July 7th, 2026. And Lisa, do you want to give the call to work, please?
Admitting our friends on Zoom. Please be advised that proper notice of this meeting has been given in compliance of the Open Public Meetings Act.
We welcome everyone to join us with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Do the sunshine statement, please.
Oh, I just
Did that? Okay, how about the roll call?
Mr. Diamond,
Here.
Mr. DeCroce,
Here.
Ms. Mazitis,
Here.
Mr. Southwick,
Here.
and Mr. Woods.
Here. Welcome, everyone. Tonight, we're going to start out with a joint insurance fund renewal presentation by Paul and Tom. Can you come on up, gentlemen? Nice to see you.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me here. And the Monahans have obviously been involved with the Joint Insurance Fund since 1991. Tom's the latest member of the family to continue that tradition with the Joint Insurance Fund, serving as your risk manager, contracted directly with Shamong Township to provide associated services, which we'll talk about a little bit later on in the presentation. But I want to thank you for having me here tonight. My name's Paul Miola. I served as executive director of the Joint Insurance Fund from 1991 until I retired 3 years ago. But they recruited me to come back out just to talk to some of the members. You know, when you're up for renewal, you want to know how's the Joint Insurance Fund doing. You know, what kind of programs are we conducting? So have a bit of a presentation. I know that Lisa got copies of these, and I think they were distributed to everyone. So if I can begin, I just want to talk a little bit about what makes a JIF, Joint Insurance Fund, a strong organization. And really, it comes down to financial strength, because obviously we're here when difficulty arises, when a lawsuit against the town arises, when you have damage to your property, when an employee is injured. You want to make sure that the resources are going to be there to take care of those situations. You also want to make sure that the Joint Insurance Fund is financially strong, that we have a good surplus position, that we have a good cash flow, and you want to make sure that we are giving back money that would have otherwise been insurance company profits. Those are called dividends, as opposed to supplemental assessments, which some JIFs around the state actually have to go back out and ask for more money. We've never been in that position. You also want to make sure that your joint insurance fund has effective services for you. For example, safety training programs, safety programs themselves, relevant risk management programs, programs that are geared towards municipal government, not an insurance company that's handling body shops one day and a trucking firm the next, all geared towards municipal government. You also want to have good professional claims management, ready access to your fund professionals, and most importantly, and I'll talk about this in a minute, solid member engagement and involvement in the joint insurance fund. On the next page, I talk about some of the financials, and reading between the lines on the left side of the sheet, you're going to see a competing joint insurance fund's financial sheet as of year end. And you can see that there are some issues there. They do discount their reserves. That means that when they set money aside to pay claims, they anticipate investment income far higher than they're actually receiving on their investment. You want to make sure that there is not significant recoverable. For example, in this joint insurance fund, they're anticipating $8 million back from reinsurers. They've been carrying that amount of money for up to 10 years. So it's highly doubtful that's going to be returned to the joint insurance fund. And some of the other things, you can see that they're running at an underwriting deficit of $5.5 million. Very low return of surplus. As a matter of fact, this is a joint insurance fund that actually comes back and asks members for additional money through supplemental assessments. And why do some of the JIFs come back and ask for more money? Well, they underfund their claims budget, and they want to charge lower money going in, so they'll come back later on and ask for more. They don't set their reserves properly, including the incurred but not reported. Poor claims handling. The claims adjusters may be loaded with claims. Lack of the employee safety training, non-existent risk management programs. And a lot of these joint insurance funds go around selling the fact that, you know, join our JIF, you don't have to do anything. Well, do you really want to be in a JIF where The other members are not conducting their safety committee meetings, or they're not practicing risk management. I think that's difficult. Then on the right-hand side, this is a joint insurance fund that originally was going to go out to their members for an additional $22 million, and had to amend that to $48 million. And I can tell you, we've never had to do anything close to that at all. On the next page, you can see our financials. We've been around for 35 years. That's since 1991. I was a junior in high school, was a high school product. Now you don't believe me. But- All right. We do have over $14 million of cash on hand. We've returned over $15 million to Burlington County municipalities since we formed in 91. We're currently sitting on a current surplus of over $6 million, an underwriting surplus of over $17 million. We don't discount our reserves, and we keep our administrative costs under 20% at 17.3. And again, Shamong's received over $250,000 in dividends since 1995. Our safety programs are second to none. Our policies are driven by the members. There's a safety committee that municipal officers attend. We talk about different issues where claims are occurring and what kind of safety programs can we put in place to prevent those types of injuries or accidents from occurring. We have a safety incentive program. We send a representative out to conduct loss control visits on site. We issue safety policies, procedures, checklists, guidelines, regular safety bulletins, and our training programs are second to none. We can help you schedule and track your employee training. So when OSHA comes in, you can print out a report to show that they've had the required training. And our training programs are both in person, streaming, and through virtual webinars. So it's just a lot of training programs that we offer to our members, and especially those that are required by the state or by PIOSH to keep your employees in compliance. And we continue to see an increase in the training episodes. You can see that this past year, over a 29% increase in Safety Institute training. And then finally, I talk about risk management, which I say is a step beyond safety. We issue certificate of insurance guidelines to make sure that before you enter into any contracts and your attorney is reviewing it, we'll look at it, and the Monahans will also look at it to make sure that there's no reverse hold harmless agreements where the contractor is coming in and saying, you're going to hold me harmless for any damage I cause. No, we don't want that. Let's turn that around and make sure that they are taking care of Shamong Township so that the hold harmless and indemnification clause runs in your favor and that they have the proper insurance in place. The road sign and walkway condition report program, the managerial and supervisory training, the police management training for your fellow members that have police agencies. We also conduct employment practices liability training for your employees for sexual harassment and workplace things of that nature. Our cyber risk management training I'll talk about on the next slide. We also conduct lifeguard and seasonal employee training so that your seasonals that you hire that are cutting grass, what have you, get safety training. And we also conduct environmental audits and guidance through our joint insurance fund for environmental impairment liability. Annually, we conduct elected official seminars to keep you up to date on those issues that might be facing you from a liability standpoint. I understand you're updating your personnel policies right now, and we do give you model personnel policies for that. And also there's an employment practices helpline where if an employee is coming in, perhaps asking for an accommodation under the Americans with Disabilities Act, you can pick up the phone on our nickel, speak to an attorney that practices employment law, and ask about how to handle that. For example, did you have a dialogue with this person? Did you ask them what kind of an accommodation are they looking for? Is it something that we can do? And this way you avoid some problems. So basically, we're trying to give you some guidance so that you can conduct your business with less financial risk or injury to your employees or to your residents. Some of the specialized programs, the cyber risk management program, something we didn't even think about 10 years ago. But who wants to come in on a Monday morning and see a blue screen in the clerk's office? So we conduct online employee training. We conduct employee phishing exercises. So your employee might get an email, asked to click on a link that they're not supposed to. If they do, they get a 2-minute lesson on, hey, before you click on a link, maybe you want to do this and learn a little bit something about what you should be doing. We also conduct internal and external penetration testing to see if bad actors can get into your system. We also give you a budget so that you can purchase some things to help you with your cyber prevention program and employment practices and liability. We have a technology risk services director who comes out and helps you come into compliance so that your systems are not as vulnerable to outside actors. And there's also an expert response team so that if you do have an incident, you pick up the phone, we get people out here right away to get you back online and to handle any reporting that's necessary to the state or federal authorities. We conduct property appraisals on property that you own so that you're making sure that you're ensuring the value. We have a wellness consultant that comes out and works with you. And then I think most importantly, a lot of people overlook this, the Origami program, which is an online repository of your exposure data, meaning all your vehicle information, your building information, all your equipment. It's all online for you to take to look at and for your folks to update where appropriate. So I think the bottom line is, when you're in the joint insurance fund, you're not getting an insurance policy, putting it in a drawer and hoping you don't have claims, but you're actually getting programs to help you manage risk in running your municipality. And then naturally, we can't prevent every claim from occurring, and we do have strong claims management tools. We make effective use of Title 59 immunities. It used to be that, you can't sue City Hall. Well, that all changed. And so we wanted to make sure that Shamong Township has adopted a tort claim notice questionnaire, which we have a copy of and you adopted by resolution, so that if a plaintiff's attorney says, well, I'm not going to fill out a tort claim form, we say, oh, yes, you are. Specialized Defense Counsel, and I'm sure Doug can speak to that. We have a local defense counsel that specializes in defending municipal government. Very aggressive in our claims defense and a strong litigation management process. And on the other side of the house for workers' compensation, we have 1-800 claims reporting, nurse case managers to make sure that employees are receiving the proper medical care, PPO for making sure that we're using doctors that are dedicated to employee injuries, and maximum network discounts, and most importantly, a transitional duty program. So that when a doctor says, Bill can come back to work, I'll see him in 2 weeks. For the next 2 weeks, let's just ease him back into the workplace. No lifting over 25 pounds. You might say he's never lifted anything over 25 pounds in his life. Let's get him back in here, and so on. So you'll see the claims roadmaps down on the bottom. And then again, everything's local. Our actuary, administrator, attorneys, auditors, all of our personnel, including our technology risk director right here in Shamong Township, all available when you need them, and they're a phone call away. So member involvement, very, very important. The subcommittee structure, the executive committee, these are all clerks, administrators, council members of member towns that are meeting to make sure to set policy for the JIF and to overview financials, to look at the budgets and to review professionals that are up for renewal. And I think that transparency is very important. There are some joint insurance funds that are just run by the outside professionals. There's no member involvement. There's one that just this past year has gone insolvent. They were overspending, really paying themselves a lot of money, but members were not involved in that joint insurance fund, and that's the danger. So we want to make sure that each month we publish a bill list so that you know where the money is going. The budget is put together by representatives from the towns. So I think that member involvement is so important. And Lisa Jordan really filled that role. She represents Shamong Township. She's on the Executive Safety Committee. She's been to over 90% of our meetings this past year. She's very actively involved with that. Joanne Robertson and Lisa Jordan chair your municipal safety committee, and they coordinate your local safety programs with the safety director. I know you get involved with that as well. And then your claims coordinator, Joanne Robertson and Lisa both are trained in reporting the property damage, worker injuries, and lawsuits to the JIF. And they also serve as a liaison to the claims adjuster. So there's that direct contact, what's happening with this claim, and so on and so forth. And then our wellness coordinator, Joanne Robertson, also serves as our wellness coordinator. We have a wellness program. What we've learned is that healthy employees are less likely to get injured. They recover more quickly. We've also done studies to show that healthy employees are less likely to have more significant claims. So that wellness program, I think is very, very important and ties in with our workers' compensation program. And then again, Tom and Lauren Irons over at your organization, they're the ones that really provide the insurance expertise, the safety management advice. I know that you folks get involved with some of the committees and things of that nature. And we're very, very happy to be working with you as well. So the bottom line, uh, membership in the JIP, it's not just buying an insurance policy. You're getting consistent coverage from a financially stable organization, access to state-of-the-art employee training, risk management programs to address unique exposures, assistance from local fund professionals, member input on fund programs, and participating with Burlington County municipalities who are also dedicated to JIF loss control and risk management programs. There's only two ways you can get thrown out of the JIP. One, obviously, you don't pay your bill. But two is that you're not involved in the safety programs. And I think that's so very important because think about it, over the long haul, if everybody is practicing safety, making sure their employees are well trained, not getting hurt on the job, you're going to save money in the long run. You're going to have fewer claims. So beware of any joint insurance fund that sell you on the fact that you don't have to do anything. So Tom, I don't know if there's anything you want to add to that.
Just that I've seen a couple of GIFs and how they operate, and this one and their note to safety is really, you can see it pay dividends in the long run with claims paid out, lost time, and then which reflects in dividends paid back to the townships. They're above and beyond, so I can't recommend them high enough.
Right. Paul, it's nice that you let Tom speak.
Yes.
Well, does anybody on the board have any questions or comments?
I have some questions. How many townships are members in Burlington County?
27.
27?
Yes,
And so this JIF is just for Burlington County?
correct.
Okay,
Yes.
that's it.
Anybody else? Okay, we've been very happy with what you guys have done for us. And we think you're saving us some money, and the education support is great. And your presentation tonight is not the chicken dinner we used to go to, right? So, well, we appreciate you coming. Thank you very much. Anybody have any other comments or questions?
No, I just wanted to comment that I'm just very impressed anytime we reach out for any backup on any topic that we need. There's always such a great response, and we're always welcomed with help and the resources that we need. So thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. All right, appreciate it. We'll see you next year, if not before. Thank you. Just three quick comments before we go to public comment. One is just to make you aware that we sent out a letter to the Burlington County Engineers Office and Arrowac Paving to let them know that we were very pleased with what they did for the paving out here on Willow Grove Road. Secondly, I wanted to acknowledge Patty, Piney Pig and Poultry, Patty and Doug. And Drew, did anybody here get any cucumbers last week or 2 weeks ago? All right, so they had 41,000 pounds of cucumbers that were shifted in a load, and they were not accepted by the distributor. So they went over to Patty's farm, and she oversaw the distribution to many of our neighbors and a lot of towns surrounding. So I did send her a letter thanking Drew and Patty and Michael, who was he was the truck driver. So we appreciate that they did that very much. And then lastly, very quickly, the American Legion Post, Mount Holly Post 11 is going to have the 99th annual Captain Emilio Carranza Memorial Service. If you haven't been there, it's quite an amazing thing that they've been going for 99 years. I understand that the governor may be here this year. And I have been asked to give a speech as well, and there'll be dignitaries from the Mexican embassy. So I invite everyone on the board to join me for that. It's 1 o'clock at the Carranza Memorial Historic Site. You guys probably know where that is. We're out in the woods. So we would love to have a great turnout from our community as well. All right, with that, thank you all for coming. We'll open the meeting up to public comment for any agenda items only. Just identify yourself, your name, address, and you will be heard. And we'd ask you just be mindful of the time that you take. We don't have any time limits, but we have a very full agenda this evening. Okay, seeing and hearing no one, will close this portion of the meeting to public comment, and we'll go First, the public hearing on the budget resolution, which is 2026 R-71. And for that, we have Rob Inverso. Good evening, Rob. Do you want to give us a presentation, or would you like to make any comments?
Just a few comments.
Yes, sir.
This meeting is really for the public,
Yes, sir.
but just an overview of where we stand. For the year 2025, we started with a fund balance of $2,229,000. We appropriated $1,332,000. We returned to surplus $1,005,000. And we're ending with a fund balance of $1,903,184. We're appropriating in this budget $1,271,000 of that, which is around 76%, which is a high percentage. No, I'm sorry, 67%. Historically, in the last 5 years, it's been in the 55% of that. A lot of our surplus. The budget for this year, no additional state aid the same as the previous year. And resulting in a tax increase, net tax increase between open space and the regular budget, tax 2.7 cents. Which equates to the average taxpayer about $85. We're about $7. Our tax rate is the lowest in the county by far. So, major increases for health insurance, fire truck, additional money for ambulance service, and we did have to use less surplus. Understand?
Okay, great. Good rendition, Rob. I think that's very helpful.
Sure. Been approved by the township committee, so now.
Yes, sir. Okay. Anybody have any questions or comments here? If not, we'll open it up to members of the public for any questions.
I'll just say that I think everybody did a great job. We never want to see a tax increase, and since I've been here, we haven't had to. But obviously, with the end of some volunteer sections of our township, like fire department, health increases, it's something we had to do, and we don't take it lightly. But if you look at this, I mean, just the county library and open space, which no knock against libraries, but how often do you use the library compared to our roads? That's more of taxation than what we do just on this township. And obviously, I think libraries are important, but we really do. That's just an example of how low we keep the local taxes. Is it's lower than just county library and county open space added together, and that doesn't even bring in the schools, the county, everything. So, we're trying our hardest here, and we apologize that we had to increase it at all, but sign of the times. So, bear with us.
Thank you. Anybody else have any comments? If not, anybody from the public is welcome to make any comments. Okay, seeing and hearing none, we'll close it to the members of the public, and I'll just say that $7 a month is, we struggled. We don't like to raise it at all. We struggled, and we got that down. I guess it was at 10 or 12 at one point. So we're happy about that. But just as a warning, that is not the total tax increase. You can expect a tax increase from the regional high school, the local high school, the county, and the libraries. So, and that's something that I think all of you know. We talk about that every month. We don't have any control about that. And we need to elect the right people to make sure that we can see maybe a tax decrease at some point. But so that's where we are. Do we need to take a motion on that?
Yes, please.
Okay, everybody's had an opportunity to review it. If I can have a motion, please.
I'm sorry. Did we go out to public?
We did,
And
and there were no comments. Yes, sir. So can we have a motion on 2026 R-71, which is adoption of the 2026 municipal budget?
I'll make a motion for 2026 R-71.
Thank you. I'll second. Thank you.
Ms. Macedas?
Yes.
Mr. Southwick?
Yes.
Mr. Woods?
Yes.
Mr. Diamond?
Yes.
And Mr. DeCroce?
I vote yes. Next, items for discussion and possible official action. Number one is the approval of the May 27th, 2026 budget workshop meeting.
I'll make a motion.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Thank you.
Mr. Woods?
Yes.
Ms. Macias?
Yes.
Mr. Southwick?
Yes.
Mr. Diamond?
Yes.
And Mr. DeCroce?
Yes, next is the approval of the minutes of the June 9th, 2026 regular meeting and executive minutes. I'll make a motion. Thank you.
I'll second.
Mr. Southwick?
Yes.
Mr. Diamond?
Yes.
Mr. Woods?
Yes.
Ms. Macias?
Yes.
Mr. DeCroce?
Yes, next is the updates to the employee policies and procedures manual. Lisa, do you want to give us an update on that, please?
Yes, so on the departure of Governor Murphy in January of this year, he had signed into legislator some updates, implementing some changes in the New Jersey Family Leave Act. So as Paul had mentioned when he was standing up giving his presentation, our joint insurance fund provided the updates that we can put right into our manual. And they go into effect as of July 17th. So we're just right under the cutoff to get these updated in our township policy and procedures. So some of the updates are the amendments to the NJFLA that affect Shamong's employees. It decreases the amount of time that an employee needs to be employed before they can begin to be eligible for NJFLA leave. It was previously 1 year and now it's down to 3 months. And then it also reduces the number of hours that an employee needs to have worked to be eligible for such leave from 1,000 hours down to 250 hours. So it's just some technical changes. And then they also give some updates to the family leave insurance, which is FLI, which if anybody goes out on FLI, they would be entitled to be restored in the same position or something equivalent. It was previously in some of the other leaves, but now they added it to FLI. And then as I was updating this, we went ahead and removed Susan Honorado from the fine print and all the manuals and replaced with my name. So it's the Chief Administrative Officer, the Affirmative Action Officer, Drug-Free Workplace Designated Employer Representative, and the Primary Human Resource Officer. So that was just since we were already updating it.
Okay, great. No approval needed on that?
No.
Okay, next is the approval of, does anybody have any questions or comments about that? Thank you, Lisa. The approval of the AT&T sprinkler quote. AT&T.
I had it wrong in the original agenda that I sent you. So it is A&T Sprinkler. This is our vendor that we use for all the sprinkler maintenance and repairs that has to be done at the beginning of each season. They have to do the activation, and then at the end of the season, they also do the closeout. We have A&T Sprinkler. They do it at Stony Creek, and then they also do it at Dingletown. So at Stony Creek, I was speaking to the public works manager who had given me some background on the situation, because I know it's been an issue for a few years that I've been here. 12 or 13 years ago when they put in the system over at Stony Creek, it was a new technology at the time, and they're having issues with the way that all the decoders of each zone throughout the fields, it's reporting the signal back to the control box. So last year, just the amount of repairs that we had to do is just seems silly to keep making repairs to a system that they're not even using anymore. At Dingletown, we still have the old system. It has a hardwired system, and the sprinkler company is highly recommending us to go back and have the new technology at that time replaced just to the hardwired system, so we have less costs in the long run. So the quote that we had gotten from them is the estimate. It's the materials would be $12,500, the labor would be $9,500, and the equipment would be about $4,000. And this we would start as soon as it's approved. This would be just at the Stony Field, so we would work with the IMAA to make sure it's not going to be in the way of any of their sports. But it's just not even running over there right now. Everything's not growing. The grass, I don't think there's any grass over there right now. It doesn't look like it's in good shape. And if it's approved to have this switched over, then we would ask this to be paid out of the open space fund.
So you're looking at about 25,000,
Mhm.
and that's just Stony Creek.
Correct, just Stony Creek for the old system, the decoder system that they have.
We addressed this issue back at the cemetery a while ago.
Yes.
I recall that. So the cemetery is not sprinkled. And we decided as a committee not to add a sprinkler system out there because of the cost of $25,000. So we're grateful for the rain that we've gotten, and it looks pretty good out there now. By the way, we do have a Pineland Cemetery right down the road. So if you're not aware of that, consider that in your final plans for yourself and your family. Okay, end of commercial. Can we have a motion on the approval?
I have,
Questions?
yeah, I have a
Yes,
question.
sir.
I'd like to request to table this. 26,000 is a lot of money. I'd like to get a couple other estimates.
Okay, did we get any other estimates on that?
No, because this is the company that we use and who does all of the repairs for us in the activation, but I'd be happy to for the next meeting.
Okay, any objections to that?
I mean, I think it's important we get our playing fields nice for the, kids in town. I think it's recreation is very important and it's coming from open space. So we have, over $1 million in there. So that's a healthy amount of funding, but yeah, never against, going out to quote. Yeah, that's fine.
Just as a quick, I just did a quick, not including the activation and winterization last year in 2025, the repairs and labor to just the Stony Creek field was about $3,100. And that's just for 1 year. So over, time, but I'd be happy to definitely put it off a month if you'd like to review some other options.
Anybody have any objections? If not, I think that's a good idea. Okay. All right, so that is tabled. Next. go
Wait,
ahead.
just, is there a season that this is affecting currently? Where it's the fields are just really unplayable and
So
I didn't see as-
I haven't directly
is there-
spoken with Rec about it, but our public works manager has advised that it is significantly dry over there, and he's referred to it as a dust bowl when they're mowing.
Anybody from Stony Creek that can give an opinion about the condition of the fields, green or brown? Have you seen it? Not green?
Not green.
All right,
Even with the waves.
got it. So with that, do you have an objection or just the comment? And then we'll take.
I mean, I would just like, yeah, if we're pushing it off for more quotes, I think we should give ourselves a next meeting deadline. If that's okay.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's agreeable.
Yep, I can
Okay.
definitely do that.
All right, so
Thank
we'll
you.
do that. We'll table that. Next is the municipal upgrade to the Comcast fiber internet and the VoIP. What's happening there?
So as anybody might have been aware, we've had quite a bit of phone issues this year and last year and the year before. We've had telesystem for the longest time where we've had the copper wires, and those have just run their longevity and they're just not working anymore. I did my best to do all the steps we needed to. So we had cut down the phone lines. Instead of having 7 or 8 phone lines, we cut it down to just 2 phone lines and a fax line. And our bill is still, it went from $800 and now it's still just under $500 after I cut all those lines off. And then we have terrible service. It's telesystem, which is anytime we call, it's Verizon who comes out, and it's just terrible response time. So it is time to get an upgrade over to the Comcast fiber lines. So they would give us a direct line to us, and it's going to be our voice over system that we needed to get upgraded. They'll give us new phones as part of it. It would max our bill would be $800 a month, which in comparison, that would cut off the almost $500 telesystem that we're currently paying. And that would cut off the current Comcast, which we're currently paying $170. So with that, we'd still be, just around the same as what we're currently paying for the other services that are terrible. I mean, the wind blows, the internet goes out, it rains, the phones stop working. It's just not a good system for the municipality, because when residents need to reach us, we have such trouble. So that would just be a big help. And it would also help in the event that we're ever closed for any reason. We'd be the voiceover, we can switch over to, remote if we needed to also.
It's like 1,200 a year
Uh,
difference about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So very small difference for such a great service that we would get. So I had our IT contractor meet with me several times and met with Comcast, and they've They've offered, a significant increase in what we're getting. They also offered to increase the service, but stay the same rate as what we're getting in the OEM office out in the garage. Because that's, he doesn't have good service out there for his internet. We would also get upgraded to service level agreement. So we would get priority. Anytime something's down, they'll now actually come out first because they know we're a municipality. Whereas now we have I spend too much time trying to call and get things fixed. So this would be a huge help.
And we don't have fiber optics out here, correct?
So that's what they would do. They would run the fiber line to us, the dedicated fiber.
Comcast?
Yep, that would be through Comcast. Yeah. So we're looking to keep Comcast and upgrade the service to a fiber line and then get rid of the phones.
Okay, great.
Yeah. So if everyone's good with that, I'll keep moving forward.
Any questions or comments or objections?
I have a question, John. Would that be good for you for emergency management?
It would. I think the only advantage that the old style phones had was that when the power goes out, the phone still works. The building is dark, so you can't operate in it, so it really didn't matter. So internet is still what you need in order to have that voice service. But the service upgrade, I agree with Lisa. She and I have discussed this a number of times. My phones are down more than they're up in that outlet down there. It's an extension of 2 extensions. It goes through the garage to the end.
All right, so hopefully this will solve that problem.
We have a similar service at the station and it's very stable. So I think it's a good move for the township.
Thank you.
All right, Lisa, go ahead and do that.
Okay, that sounds great. The first step was we had gotten the security system off the hardwired that was upgraded a few months ago that you had approved. So now this step is the phones finally.
Okay, great. Next is the final update on the Dingletown and Stony Creek recreation field update. Joe, do you want to do that or shall we start with Lisa? Start with Lisa? Yep. Now, you guys?
Okay, so this was just an update because I know that there's been some questions on where we're going as far as establishing any fees and the field usage. So I wasn't sure if the committee wanted to make any comments. I had reached out to the IMAA and they are eager to set up a meeting so that way we can go over any resolutions as far as some of the trash issues we were also still going over so we can get a resolution. I did get quotes for the dumpster so we can discuss that with them once the schedule allots.
Just so everyone knows in the public, we have a couple of issues that have arisen. People are still dumping trash at the Dingletown field. I don't think it's so much of an issue at Stony Creek. So we're trying to address that so people pack in their stuff and pack it out. Secondly, there's a question of when the fields are being used and who's using them, how much revenue is being utilized, being generated, both from the snack stand and from the various tournaments. The responsibility for the field upkeep, the maintenance of the grass, the conditions of the field, the painting of the various ball outlets there. And then better communications or more communications with the town as to when they'll have their tournaments so that we can have an idea for OEM as to who's coming into town and the numbers. And just a general, you to get it really just a general flavor of what's going on so that we know what's happening in the town, and also take a look at whether or not there should be a revenue sharing between the revenue that's raised and what the township is paying out of the taxes in order to maintain the ball fields and all the trash issues and things like that. Committeeman Diamond brought this issue up, and thank you very much. And I know that Mike is very well aware of this as well. So anybody have any comments or questions?
Right now, I don't have anything to say. I mean, I was out there last weekend and there was a lot of traffic, a lot of people out there, and it's good that the township knows what's going on and who's coming, who's going, and you should just be aware of any income or permits that there should probably be a permit. Some townships have permits if somebody wants to use the field, then they need to apply to the township and to use the field. So I don't know if there's anything that we can do to just so we know what's going on.
Anybody else? Okay, so that's the update on the fields, Lisa?
Yeah, so it was suggested to me by Sue last year that it was on my radar to work with the IMAA and the committee to get an updated, and also work with Mr. Heinold on getting an updated agreement because it's been some time. So I think now would be a good time now that there's some questions raised. So setting up the meeting, would anybody like to join Mayor DeCroce and myself?
I would like to.
Okay,
Okay,
so
great.
I will get that set up.
Excellent. We did have a meeting with them about 6 months ago. And some of those questions were answered. I know they need to have an election and we need to address some of the other issues that we can, so we can get our hands around what's happening out there. Okay, thank you all I appreciate that. All right, next we're going to go to resolutions. I'll try and move quickly. I see we have a big agenda, 2026 R-70, which is a resolution urging the New Jersey State Legislature and the governor to repeal the gas tax escalator and restore accountability to the fuel tax increases. As you may recall, I think the last governor, well, not the last governor, but Governor Christie added on his way out a 25-cent a gallon tax, which we are somewhat of the beneficiary of because we have been getting a lot of our roads paved without any taxpayer dollars. So we're appreciative of the county for that. But I think it's important that we send a message to the governor, especially in these times where everything is going up, everybody is getting squeezed, that the state reduce this tax so that people can actually live a little better lives. With that said, do we need a motion for that?
Yes, please.
If any questions or comments, if not, can we have a motion, please? Motion. Thank you.
Second.
Thank you.
Mr. Southwick?
Yes.
Mr. Diamond?
Yes.
Mr. Woods?
I'm just gonna abstain because I worked on legislation to modify this last year and tried to pass something through the legislature in my day job, my past day job, but yeah, thank you.
Understood.
And Mr. Croce?
I vote yes. Next is 2026 R-76. This is a self-examination of a budget resolution.
So this is just something that needs to be adopted to have on paper. The budget only needs to be submitted to the state every so many years. So this is a year because our municipality is in good, sound fiscal condition that we are allowed to self-review it. So our budget doesn't have to be sent up to the state and delayed. So we're lucky in that aspect. So this is just adopted so that way we can send it to the state.
Okay. Questions or comments? If not, can we have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Mr. Woods?
Yes.
Ms. Mazitis?
Yes.
Mr. Southwick?
Yes.
Mr. Diamond?
Yes.
And Mr. DeCroce?
Yes, 2026 R-77. This authorizes the execution of a contract renewing membership in the Burlington County Municipal Joint Insurance Fund for 3 years. And you heard tonight, that's called the JIF. And we heard the presentation from Paul and Tom. Any questions or comments? If not, can we have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion to,
Renew, yeah.
I was unblanked on the word.
Thank you.
I'll second it.
Ms. Mazitis?
Yes.
Mr. Diamond?
Yes.
Mr. Woods?
Yes.
Mr. Southwick?
Yes.
And Mr. DeCroce?
Yes, next is 2026 R-78. This is appointment of the municipal clerk. Who's our municipal clerk?
I sat for the exam in April, on April 22nd, and after a long several weeks, it was I finally heard in June that I had passed. So it was very long wait, but I'm very fortunate of the the mentors that I had along the process. So this would be the resolution to appoint the municipal clerk. It is a 3-year term, so it would start as of today and then expire at the 3-year mark, and then it would be up for reappointment as a tenured position.
Very good. Any questions or comments? If not, can we have a motion, please? I'll make a motion. Thank you, Mike.
I'll second.
Thank you, Megan.
Mr. Southwick?
Yes.
Ms. Mazitis?
Yes.
Mr. Woods?
Yes.
Mr. DeCroce?
Yes.
And Mr. Diamond?
Yes.
Sorry, skipped you.
Next is 20,
Oh,
congratulations.
Thank you, John. I appreciate it.
Next is 2026 R-79. This authorizes a lien against property in Shamong at block 8.01, lot 12.05 for the cost of property maintenance performed by the township employees or contractors pursuant to Shamong Township Code at chapter 136. And we'll do the next one as well. Can we
Yep.
do as joint?
We can.
Same thing as 2026R-80. This authorizes a lien against property at block 8.02, lot 8, for the cost of property maintenance performed by township employees or contractors pursuant to Shamong Township Code at chapter 136. Everybody had an opportunity to review that. Lisa, want to give us some background on that?
So these are blighted properties that residents notice and contact us. So these have been issues for a few years. And unfortunately, on both of these instances, they're vacant properties, but the taxes are paid. So they can't go into lien to get someone else to be responsible for them. So we will take care of the property maintenance bill. Unfortunately, in both instances, we don't have good addresses. Everything comes back returned for years. So we would bill them back. If not paid, then we would be eligible to put it on the tax sale as a lien.
Okay, great. Any questions or comments? If not, can we have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Thank you.
Mr. Woods?
Yes.
Mr. Southwood? Ms. Mazitas?
Yes.
Mr. Diamond?
Yes.
Mr. DeCroce?
Yes, next is 2026R-81. This authorizes the approval for submission of a grant application to the New Jersey Department of Transportation Municipal Aid Grant Program for bikeway improvements to Grassy Lake Road and Indian Mills Road. Joe, do you want to give us an update on
Yeah,
that?
it's similar to the DOT grants that we apply for every year for road improvements, mainly paving, but this one is for bikeway signage and striping mainly along Grassy Lake and Indian Mills to the school.
Awesome. This is something we've been talking about for a long time. Thank you for taking action on it. I think it would be great because a lot of children take that road, which is very narrow,
Very
number one, and unsafe, number two. And this would get kids being able to have a safe way to school. So thank you for that. So any questions or comments?
Yeah, good question. The narrowness of Grassy Lake, would that require additional property?
No, it's mainly signage and striping. Share the road, signage and striping. We're not expanding the roadway.
Okay.
There's not enough room currently to do that.
In order to do that, we would have to take an easement from each of the property owners?
More like right of way, yeah.
Yes.
Literally take property, yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that's the issue we ran into. Okay, any other questions or comments? All right, if not, can we have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Mr. Diamond?
Yes.
Ms. Mazitas?
Yes.
Mr. Woods?
Yes.
Mr. Southwick? Mr. DeCroce?
I vote yes, 2026R-82. This authorizes the issuance of bond anticipation notes series 2026.
So this is an annual resolution that gets passed. So currently on the roster of what we need, it will be the 2016 road program for $90,000, the acquisition of equipment and construction site of the cemetery, $71,250, the 2022 road program of $630,000, and the acquisition of the fire truck in 2022, which is $663,341. Yeah. So we have a total that will go out for $1,454,591. So once this resolution is passed, we'll get in touch with Doug Heinold's office, and then we would set up the bond sale.
Do we have an idea of what the interest rate will be yet? I think it's in the fours.
There's a note here. This is prepared by the CFO. Sandler and Company purchased the bond anticipation notes as a interest rate of 4% plus a premium of $2,981, net interest of 3.79.
Thank you. Anybody have any questions or comments? If not, can we have a motion? Does the fire company want to give back any of that money? Hearing none, we'll need to have a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Thank you.
Mr. Woods?
Yeah.
Mr. Southwick?
Yes.
Ms. Mazitas?
Yes.
Mr. Diamond?
Yes.
And Mr. DeCroce?
Yes, 2026R-83. This is the 2026
salary resolution. What can you tell us about that, Lisa?
So this is adopted after the budget is approved and adopted after the second reading. So this is increasing the salaries for the cost of living raise that the employees will receive.
Any questions or comments? If not, can we have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Thank you.
Mr. Woods?
Yes.
Mr. Diamond?
Yes.
Mr. Southwick?
Yes.
Ms. Mazitis?
Yes.
And Mr. DeCroce?
Yes, next is 2026 R-85. This is supporting participation in the Sustainable Jersey Municipal Certification Program.
So this is, I added this on after I had originally sent it out. So we're looking to apply for a grant through one of the emails that you had sent out. It is through a Sustainable Jersey Municipal Certification Program. So in order to start applying for grants as part of that program, we would need to be get certified. So we haven't been certified previously. There are quite a bit of other municipalities in Burlington County that work with the program, but some of the why get certified? It's implement practices that lead to cost saving energy, water. The program helps communities improve efficiency, cut waste, and stimulate local economies. And registered towns would get special priority access notifications to incentives and grants that we're eligible for. So this would be the first step for us to get certified. So I would be doing the work to go through. It's kind of like a grading system where we would just implement policies if we don't already, just to be more green and more proactive for our community. And they currently have a grant out. It's for $5,000. It's for a sustainability grant. So if we are allowed to, we would move forward to apply for that grant. It is due by July 13th. And then they would prepare and send me over the resolution to be approved at the August meeting. So what we would ask for with that $5,000 for resiliency would be for Public Works to have some additional chainsaws, and then possibly I'd spoken with John Lyons of OEM to get some barricades or any additional items that would be needed in the event of any emergency times.
Okay, great. Thank you for following up on that, Lisa. And hopefully there'll be more grants soon.
Yes, it seems like a good avenue.
Any questions or comments? If not, can we have a motion?
I just have one question.
Yes, sir.
Is this a state program or a federal program?
So this is
This is state.
State?
Yeah, so it's called Sustainable Jersey. So it also works with Atlantic City Electric. So you have to be a township that is in the Atlantic City Electric District to get that.
Could I have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it. Thank you.
Ms. Mazitis?
Yes.
Mr. Southwick?
Yes.
Mr. Woods?
Yes.
Mr. Diamond?
Yes.
And Mr. DeCroce?
Yes, next we move to ordinances 2026-3. This is an introduction. This would amend and supplement the code of the Township of Shamong to include and designate data centers as a non-permitted use in all zones within the Township of Shamong. This is something that we addressed a few months ago, and we don't ever believe that any data centers are going to be built in Shamong for the reasons of we don't have the power source, they don't have the water, and they don't have sewer. But we want to have belts and suspenders on this, and I'll turn it over to our solicitor, Doug, to give a further explanation.
Yeah, I just want to note for the record that we take the position today that because data centers were not a contemplated use when the master plan was developed and our zoning ordinances were developed, that this is not a permitted use currently. This, however, will clarify the ordinance, so we don't have to get into any arguments with anybody over whether they think otherwise or want to argue otherwise in the code. We're specifically identifying the use and declaring it not a permitted use. We did talk a little bit about variations on a theme. There's a lot developing in the data center world very quickly. I think some of it in response to the significant implications that these uses can have in terms of all of the impacts that are listed in the preamble to the ordinance. It may come to pass at some point where we recognize different types of uses, less intrusive uses, more modest uses, and revisit this. And that may be part of a future master plan process or part of a future planning process as this field develops further. But like many, many other towns around us, I think the prudent step right now is to just address the issue with it's not permitted. This doesn't mean, just so everybody's aware, under New Jersey law, municipal land use law, anybody can apply for anything. You can apply to have a Ferris wheel in your front yard. You're not going to get it, but you can apply for it. Somebody could come and apply for a data center under a use variance before our board. The board would hold a public hearing and issue a ruling on it. But at least this would directly address the issues, state the concerns associated with the environmental impacts, neighborhood impacts, things like that, and make it that much more difficult for somebody to contend that argue in the first place that they should be treated as permitted use, and if they do have to seek a use variance, argue that they should be entitled to that use variance. This ordinance would make that more difficult.
Okay, great. Thank you. So no data center at Murphy's Pit
We're going to have solar at Murphy's Pit.
and no data center. And we have the old Superfund site out.
The Ewan or
Yes.
Ewan, yeah.
Now that has been replanted with trees, and so I'd like put in the back of your brain to take a look, because that's been 20 years or 25 years as to whether or not that site is cleaned up and whether or not there's another use for that. Is that in our open space? Do you know?
I don't believe so. I don't think we own the Ewan site. I'm not sure what the ownership status of that is, but I'll look into it. It's been a
That
while.
would be great. Well, thank you for this. I think this is a good plan. It's maybe unnecessary, like I say, belt and suspender, but and if it ever comes to otherwise, it would be a discussion before the board and a revote. But with that said, do we need a motion on that at this point?
Yes, please.
Yeah, and we also need to announce when the second reading and public
Yes.
hearing will be.
This public hearing of the second reading will be on Tuesday, August the 4th, and that will be here at the municipal building at 7:30 p.m.
Okay. Do we need to open that up to the public?
No, that will be, public
second?
hearing will be the
Okay.
next month.
All right, great. And if
August
there's
4th.
no other questions or comments, can we have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion for the no data center ordinance.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Thank you.
Mr. Woods?
Yes.
Ms. Mazitas?
Yes.
Mr. Southwick?
Yes.
Mr. Diamond?
Yes.
And Mr. DeCroce?
Yes, next, the favorite part of the meeting, approval of the attached approval bill list, which we all take a look at before we got here. It's $1.674 million. And as I often do, I ask Lisa to give a breakdown of where that almost $1.7 million is going.
So we have a few larger bills on here. We have the Indian Mills Volunteer third quarter support, as well as there was a refund check for the what was it? Oh, motor vehicle. So that's why it's just an odd number. So we have that as $18,810. We also have going to the Lenape Regional High School District, $557,491. We had our health benefits for the month, which is $22,000, and then we had a shared service bill that we paid Medford Lakes Borough to take care of our court. That is for a quarter, $6,000.
Anything to the little school?
It might be that time of the year that they're waiting on the schedule, because when the budget's adopted, we get the new schedule of what the next year is. So I'm thinking it might be paid in between and then added to next one's bill list.
Okay. Anybody have any questions or comments? If not, can we have a motion if you'd like to pay the bills?
I'll make a motion. I'll second.
Mr. Southwick?
Yes.
Mr. Woods?
Yes.
Ms. Mazitas?
Yes.
Mr. Diamond?
Yes.
And Mr. DeCroce?
I vote yes. Next, we go to the reports of our township engineer, Joe Hirsch. Good evening.
Good
Welcome.
evening. Thank you. I just have two quick updates related to the paving project on Atzine Road Phase 4. That's ready for bid. We'll be advertising that this week. Take bids the end of July, and we'll look, if all things go well, to award in August
Okay,
for
great.
fall construction.
Good news.
And then the 2027 grant applications were due July 1, and we applied for Phase 5 of Atzine Road, the next phase. And we also did the Grassy Lake Road bikeway improvement. So they both were submitted. The resolution tonight supports that one, and and we'll look for awards somewhere around October, November this year.
Awesome. And that's not guaranteed, right?
It is not guaranteed.
All right.
That's all I have.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Our township solicitor, Doug Heinold. Good evening, Doug.
Good evening again. I'm just going to give a brief update on Bighorn. Again, we check in with them monthly. I communicate with the attorney for Bighorn Solar. And in this past month, we also had a meeting with their attorney, their engineering team, and an attorney for residents who live across the street from them, from the site. Project continues to move forward. They anticipate closing, I think, this month on the site. We talked again about, once they take ownership, trying to expedite site security and improving the control of the site over what the prior owner did, which is a fairly low bar. So they have already, during the contract period, felled some trees to try to cut off some access points. They have talked about possibly doing some additional work in that regard. And we have talked about whether they could do some initial fencing work even before they're in before the board. That fence is not contingent upon a site plan approval. They could pull the prior owner. If the prior owner came in, we would have issued a fence for that site. So we've told them we'll work with them on making sure that if they can look into that and get something that works. They do have concern about making sure that what they install is ultimately usable for the end purpose of the site, and they don't have to, expend money to install it, only to rip it back out and put it in. And there is some site grading that has to happen relative to the solar project. So there's been some discussion about possibly at least looking at fencing in the front portion of the pit to try to, again, gain some additional safety and control out on the site. Even if, regardless of those issues, they do anticipate being before the board this year, and they are hopeful to start the project. They indicated also, because of the nature of the project, they are able to often work through winter conditions. Cold ground is not necessarily a bad thing for them. Wet ground is probably the worst case scenario. So we expect, once they get approval, that they're going to keep moving forward. I have to say again, Bighorn has been very good to work with, very diligent on this project. They have been somewhat apologetic along the way that it's taken this long, but we have had enough communication with them to recognize that it really has a lot to do with the slow process of interconnection approval, the slow process and kind of constant changes that happen at BPU relative to the state solar programs. But as the tides have changed, they have continued to sort of reconfigure the project and keep attacking it. So pretty happy with how responsive they continue to be and how much they continue to pursue this. Hopefully next month I can tell you they closed, and I'll just keep giving you an update as we move through the process. That's all I have.
Thank you, Doug. Appreciate it. Next, we'll go to the township administrator. Good evening, Lisa.
Good evening. So I'll just go over the quick most important bullet points. The book drop, we have the book drop was delivered. Right now it is sitting at the front of the Public Works garage. We're just waiting on a permanent home for it. But everyone is welcome to start making donations. You can donate any books, just as long as they're not water damaged. They can be any type of books. You don't have to sort them. They also accept CDs and DVDs. So that's going to help us towards our, help us get back additional funds through the Sustainable New Jersey grant funding that we receive. So that's an exciting program. They use the books either to recycle them If they're not going to give them out, they'll recycle them to local mills, or they'll 50% of the books end up with a second life for new readers. So we have more information about that on our website. And then we, in the clerk's office, issued 7 solicitor licenses to renewal by Anderson. So I just wanted to give the hours. So if anybody receives any visitors on your property, you will ask them to make sure they have their photo badge on them that were issued. It should have their picture. It should have the information for the township. They're only allowed to solicit on Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. If you have any questions, bless you, any questions or concerns, contact the New Jersey State Police. The New Jersey State Police at the Red Lion Barracks have been notified of the soliciting and have been given a copy of the permit. So if any questions, just reach out to the state police. If it's not emergency, you can call us with any questions during regular hours.
As you may recall, we ended up putting up public signs that say no solicitation in Shamong. And so this is probably one of the first permit applications we've received in a number of years.
Yeah, normally it's over the summer.
Yeah, so I think so. Yeah, so I think so. So just so people know that somebody may be banging on your door and they'll have a badge. Anybody else that's out there soliciting and that's upsetting to you, just call us, get either a license plate number or take their card, get it to us, and then we'll follow up with the appropriate action.
Yeah, or just the state police in that moment, because they can respond immediately too if there's any safety concern. So over to the JIF Fund Commissioner. We have 0 lost time accidents for Shamong year to date, April 30th of 2026. JIF surplus position as of April 30th was $6,466,000. Last month in June, we had the technical risk services director, Jerry Caruso, out. He met with myself and our IT contractor, Mike Mangold from MCM Systems. And we sat and recently all the townships in the JIF had to go through some cyber hygiene measures to test penetration to make sure no one can get into our system. So he came back with our report to tell us how we were doing. We did very well. And then he just gave suggestions and went over some things with our IT. So that's always a great resource to have. Our contract membership renewal you had just voted on, so we'll get that over to them before the August deadline. And then they had suggested those statutory employee handbooks. And then the mandatory cyber just closed, and our current progress was 89%. So I think we did very well compared to last month. So we got a lot done. So thank you for anybody who completed that. The next meeting I'll attend is on Tuesday, July 21st, and that's at 3 p.m. via Teams. And then if anybody has any questions on the other township, the township reports for the building, finance, court, or tax, you can, they're in your packets, but I can answer any questions if you have them.
Anybody have any questions or comments?
I was just wondering who applied for the solicitor's permit? What type of company is?
A renewal by Anderson's.
Oh,
The window
okay.
company.
Okay.
Yes. Mhm.
And municipal court, just a quick comment. We used to spend about $35,000 15 years ago to run our court. Now we have a shared service agreement with Medford Lakes. And so years in the past, we've actually gotten some money. Maybe as recently as 2 years ago, we might have gotten between $5 and $10 grand back. This year, looks like we're gonna pay them $6 grand. That means that they did not raise enough to cover the court costs for their staff and administration. But we're saving, I think, about $35,000, $40,000 a year just in that program.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, anything else, Lisa?
No, on the chart here, we give the side by side. So we, what the revenue brings in from the court, we have against what we're paying. So we have an agreement with Medford Lakes for $2,000 monthly. So we're always taking a look at that to make sure that we, they're bringing in enough revenue to offset it.
Got it. Okay.
But definitely saving us a lot of money rather than paying staff and having the court sessions here.
Yeah. So the Shamong Court, if you get a ticket, is in Medford Lakes. So hopefully you won't get a ticket. Rob, do you want me to cut you loose, or you're just really interested tonight?
I love it.
Good. I'm glad you're here. I should have said earlier that we won't be. It's almost over now, so you might as well stay. Next, we're going to go to John from the office. Office of Emergency Management. And identify yourself, John, speaking to the microphone as you usually do.
The packet that's coming down was not in your packet. Advance, John Lyons, Office of Emergency Management. This is the second quarter report for 2026. For my office, I wanted to report on an event that started back in April. We did our annual rabies clinic, which is a test for my volunteers and system as a point of distribution. But so we're able to hand out, manage traffic, move logistics, give away things, make sure everybody's safe. Doesn't matter to me what the commodity is, if we were giving away bottled water or tarps or something in an emergent situation. In this case, we were giving rabies shots out through the vet. So it's good to practice that each year. It's a pleasure to work with the township staff on that. It went very well. I wanted to report in May 23rd, we actually had a very large scale incident, a real life incident that was deemed as a mass casualty. There were a report of a number of lost kayakers, many who were minors, over in Outside State Park, Warden area on the Mullica. And that was reported to me, and the incident unfolded to be a massive public safety response with a happy ending. Thankfully, can report there were no loss of life, no major issues. All the students were Boy Scouts actually troop was accounted for, and it was an impressive coordination attempt on the ground. But
I didn't know we had that many ambulances or fire.
I had no idea
fire
we had
engines.
that many ambulances.
You know, when I was a Boy Scout, what you would do was go out in a kayak and get in trouble like that. And nobody would come for us.
That's right. Just hack your way out of the woods, right? So no, it was just wanted to report on that with a positive outcome and really good coordination between many agencies, some of whom I'd never even heard of before that showed up. So that was good. We supported both Tabernacle and the Shamong Memorial Day events, which were also both very well attended despite the weather that particular weekend. I was able to assist Crossroads Church on the corner over there by your office with procuring a free AED, which was donated through the Virtua Foundation, the same units that were donated to Shamong Township by Virtua years ago that we maintained. So the church now has one. I'm helping them to register it with 911, make sure that they all have the adequate training. It's just nice in any public space like that to have a cardiac life-saving device like that, especially if they can get the unit at no charge, and they were happy to do. Virtua was very quick with responding to them. So
Great job, John.
Yep,
Is the other
good.
one still at
Good.
the fields?
There's one at each field. They've been moved to an external cabinet out of the shed, so they're more visible. They're weatherproof, so they'll make sure that the units are safe. We'll still take them out in the coldest months so that the units don't freeze.
Yep.
We return them. They're in the fields between April and November each year. And then there's one right around the corner here, right outside the window by the office. We also had, a number of recent, very severe weather events with roadway impacts and power outages. Now, those are not part of the second quarter. That's July into the third quarter, but I did want to report on them. So both Saturday and Sunday, we had significant weather come through the area. Sunday was a bit more impactful with its weather. All the outages have been restored. They were clear this morning. Did see your offer for providing assistance to any homeowners that needed it, but thankfully we didn't have that. We had good response from Atlanta City Electric in their storm center. After a few calls, we were able to get the meeting house area cleared out, which was probably the most impactful. I had 2 separate outages there for about a total of 80 plus residents that were affected, or properties that were affected by that. That was the largest, and then sporadic ones throughout the town. At the height of the storm, the Wawa intersection was out. Your office was probably dark. We had lights out on 206. But we had great support, and those came up very quickly. It was able to get through some of my back channel hotlines to report the traffic, both county and state intersections. They got a priority treatment and were brought back online quickly. Lisa mentioned the sustainability grant. I just wanted to talk real quickly about the barricades that were mentioned. We do have a number of very large width intersections, such as Oak Shade, where it becomes Jackson Road and Atsign Road. They measure anywhere from 25 to 30 feet across edge to edge. The traffic barricades that OEM has, some of the ones that our public work guys have, they're really, I think, in our opinion, a little bit insufficient to be a good deterrent if there is a need to close the road due to power lines that were down, large trees, something for their safety to close it. So when that happens, we'll typically call the county or even the state and add some of the big stuff to come. That can take hours to come. So if we are able to leverage a grant to get some large plastic Jersey barriers, that would be an upgrade to the equipment that we have in town. That would allow us to fill them with water or sand, or even just have them out as a deterrent, would allow us to more clearly block a large area like that and deploy them on the public work trucks. So that was the reason for that particular one. The saws are self-explanatory. I mean, we must have had 25 separate calls over the weekend with trees and limbs and branches, and supplementing what the fire department can do. It's really nice to have those tool sets available. That was the OEM report. Moving over to our community emergency response team, the CERT team. They supported the OEMs in both Tabernacle and Shamong for their events over the holiday weekends of Memorial Day, as well as deploying to the Medford fireworks in what was, I think, 300 degrees was the temperature that particular day. So we continue to see that team very active in helping out emergency management for crowds and medical and other sorts of things that they can do for logistics. Burlington County has been offering cooling sites now, as well as power chargings. Out of the county library was the most recent one that was done. So that's a county-wide effort, a little bit further than where any of our residents would be comfortable to go to, but that service is available, and the CERT team is the ones that are staffing that, as well as some of our medical reserve people who are able to keep an eye on our residents. Switching over to the fire company, a couple of bullet points for Indian Mills. Our annual fund drive is underway. The mailers are out. We're seeing a consistent but not overwhelming response to that, so we appreciate any support and getting the word out for folks to send that in. We typically see maybe 13% or so, I think, Charlie, is the number we've had of response from our homeowners who actually respond. Some are more generous than others. It's a fairly low percentage of our homeowners that respond to the mailer in that way. We had a successful coin drop at the intersection in June. I wanted to thank Mr. Southwick for coming out and donating his time to help man one of the corners. It was another hot day with the asphalt melting us down there. Traffic is definitely down. I don't know if that's a data point for your efforts, but we're finding that we have to be out there for more hours because of less traffic to try to get back to the kind of numbers that we used to see for our take for that. So it is a bit more of an effort because of that. We were awarded two particular grants in the cycle. One was from the Wawa Foundation, which is helpful. That's a $2,500 grant for public safety. That is one that we've come to rely on and has been very helpful for us, as well as some assistance from the Forest Fire Service. The DEP group puts out assistance to volunteer fire companies, and that was a $5,000 grant. But that requires matching, so we had to spend money to get some of that money back. I have no updates from South Jersey Gas. Brian, we've talked about that for once. The applications for that were due on February 5th. And we never heard anything for it, which is unusual. Usually there's a fast no from them for that. So I'm hoping maybe that's good news. Grants, as I've mentioned in previous meetings and will continue, is it's not as fertile field out there anymore to find them. So certainly no major federal or state assistance to firefighting that I have seen so far. We're looking more for private or foundational grants, which are much more difficult, I think, to compete for. Things like, the hoagie companies that are out there. If that restaurant isn't in a 50 to 100 mile radius of your station, and this particular one that I refer to, although they're incredibly supportive of firefighters, if you're not in their district, that's one of their criteria because they get such a huge request. They have to lead us out somehow. We did host two association meetings at the station last month, which was a pleasure. The Burlington County Firefighters Association and the Fire Police Association. We had large scale incidents within the last few weekend as well. We all read about the Fellowship Alliance church fire. We had units there for traffic firefighting and rescue as well as structural fires, numerous ones in Southampton and Tabernacle. Engine 2811, which is a bargain. That's the bond that you were talking about earlier, has been delivered. It's being lettered, and it was actually indoctrinated already with 2 calls. And I'll defer to Charlie and Mike if they have any questions or comments on how it's being equipped for service, but you'll see it on the road much more readily very soon. We've been asked to assist with Carranza Day as well, to provide units to help, since we understand there's some VIPs coming, such as yourself, Mr. Mayor. And Chief Bader submitted his report as well. So if you have any questions for any of us or for me, let me know. Otherwise, I'll turn it over to Mike and Charlie if they have any comments.
Thank you, John. I appreciate you. And we please give our thanks to everybody that went out during the storms, because that storm on Saturday night, I thought was actually a tornado that came through.
I actually asked my contact at Weather Service if it was classified as a derecho because we had trees that I never imagined seeing across the road snapped in half.
Yeah.
And it was very localized, and they are actually conducting surveys. So there may have been something
Yeah, I was at my
like straight
office
line winds,
and
there
it
may have
was
been a
bad.
small tornado. They won't say until they finish their surveys. So if they do, they'll alert me and we'll be able to report on
Well,
it.
thank you for getting us up, and please thank our entire
Of
team.
course.
And also just everybody in the audience, if you'll see the twigs and the branches that are in front of your house, if you can sweep them up and get them out of the street, that would be good. We're dealing with an issue now as to whether or not we have to get a street sweeper. And our position basically is that the people in Shamong are responsible enough to go out and take care of their own property. So if you do see that, and if you have elderly neighbors, please check on them and maybe clean up after them if you can.
Absolutely. I have been asked if the township is going to do any kind of
Pickup.
branch cleanup or something ahead of the one that's normally scheduled in the fall. Some of our neighboring towns are doing a special pass because there's so much debris on residential places. So just something to think about. If we are, I'm happy to help coordinate the messaging for that.
Thank you, John.
All right, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, Charlie, you want to say anything this evening? Good evening. Mike, come on up.
Mike Bayer, Chief of Fire Company. Nothing really to add to John's report. Like I said, it was a busy weekend. What we had 25 calls plus 4 building fires at the same time. Out of necessity, we had to use the new 2811 for calls. 2 of the trucks were at the church fire in Medford. Myself and my command truck and Charlie had 11 were at the barn fire and tabernacle at the same time. Then following that, there were 2 fires in Southampton that we went to. It's been a busy time for everybody, but that's
I saw the new truck when you came by. It looks great.
yeah, no, it's coming along. It's almost done. Waiting on a few more lettering things for a couple more pieces of equipment, but we're close.
Please give our thanks to everybody on your team.
Will do.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Charlie, anything to add?
Just a point on the new truck, like Mike said, we've used it in a couple of calls already. Eventually it'll be our first out truck. We're still waiting for a few things. We've put about 50,000 into it since we got it.
At least, yes.
Just on equipment, for example, the new protocol is every firefighter in the truck needs to have a portable radio. That's the new guidelines. When I first started, the only people who had portable radios were the chief. Portable radios are $6,000 a piece. We got 5 seats in the truck. There's $30,000 we just spent on radios for that truck. A lot of the other equipment we've been buying, new equipment, tried to mount it up. So we put a lot of money into it. We're getting close. There's a few things left. Like you said, the graphics is about half done. The gentleman that does the graphics is very busy. A lot of new trucks. He does New York City. He spends a lot of time up there. So we're scratching, trying to get it done. And eventually that'll be first out truck. So that's where we are with that.
Charlie, question, why are the radios so expensive?
I don't know. It's Motorola radios. They're close to $6,000 each. We spent over 30,000 on 5 radios.
Expensive.
So I would say that whenever you get a piece of equipment that's rated for safety, UL for firefighting, they're being worn into fires and the heat and waterproof and all that. It's a way they run up the cost of a radio.
So if you look at the breakdown of them, the physical radio is only about half of that $6,000. I mean, they charge $1,000 alone just for the software for it to connect to the county communication system for it to be encrypted. So it's all that stuff that adds up to them being about $600 to $6,500.
You'll see when we get dispatched on a response channel. And it's different every time we go out. So you have to change the channel on the radio. If you go out on a call, you'll see the chief, he'll have 2 portables because there's a response channel and you'll hear all the trucks and the other towns that are coming to your call on the response channel. Then there's a fireground channel with everybody on the firegrounds operating on the fireground channel. So the chief will have two portables hanging on him, one for the fire ground, so, because he has to know who's coming, what's happening on the fire ground. It's very complicated, it's not as easy as it used to be. But that's the way it is. The portables are about the same price as the radio that's in the truck, mounted in the truck. But like Mike said, not more the microphone is how much.
Yeah, hundreds of dollars.
Yeah, it's $500-600 just for the microphone goes on the radio, so, but that's the way it is. So.
Somebody's making a lot of money.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Charlie. Thank you, Mike. Okay, that concludes everything. Oh, I'm sorry. I was trying to get away from the Tabernacle Rescue Squad. Hello, Dave. Good evening. Thank you for coming out. Welcome.
Welcome.
We saved the best for last, you know
Dave
that.
Taylor from Tabernacle Rescue. You've got the report for the month. We continue to maintain better than 99% shift coverage. That's normally due to a last minute call out that we're not able to cover. We're at 99.6% this month. Again, 99% average for the first half of the year. Shift coverage as of today for the rest of the month is at 96.2%. And that's standard for right now and generally always fills in as the month continues. For June, we had a total of 133 calls, 50 BLS transports with the ambulance, and then 26 additional transports that had medics involved. 47 of our calls were here in Shamong, 56 in Tabernacle. The remaining 30 were split between Southampton and Medford primarily, and then one in Pemberton and two in Washington Township. 0 missed calls due to lack of duty crew for that 6 hours that we were down. Any other questions you have, I'd be happy to answer.
Yeah, Dave, of the 46 calls, were they 46 pickups or was there another ambulance there in any of those? But if you go out to the location, is that counted in the 46? So for example, if you get a call and another town is there, Medford's there before, or Southampton, do you still report that as you reported as one of the 46?
The 47 calls here in Shamong.
Yes, sir.
They're calls that our ambulance responded to here in Shamong.
Understood.
Okay.
Yeah, so my question, a little more clarity. Are you guys the first one there, or would you be the second one there, and it would still count as being, one of the 47?
They're duty crew calls, so we would be the only ones dispatched to that.
Okay.
If we're out on a call somewhere else and we get a call here in town, they would dispatch our station. If a second rig happens to be available, at the same time, they would dispatch Medford or Southampton, in most cases, whoever would be the next available crew that is ready to go.
Understood.
Okay. Anything
Anybody else have any questions or comments, Dave?
You might be able, I can go back and look if you're not sure. I'm just curious. I see that 21 of the calls were for Southampton. Is that the trend that you're usually covering around that many, or has it increased with Southampton going to Pemberton?
That's pretty standard.
Okay.
It'll vary a little bit month to month, but that's, most of our mutual aid calls are there.
Okay.
And Bedford is usually a lower number, but, a noticeable number.
Okay. I wasn't sure if there was any influx because since
We haven't
Southampton.
seen, I mean, we have not been going, we used to have 3 or 4 calls a month into Woodland or Chatsworth. And we haven't had any calls there at this point.
Okay.
Gotcha. I'm sure that'll change at a point, but
Yeah. I was just wondering how that arrangement's affecting those surrounding towns.
if anything, it helps us, but not going out there.
Okay.
I'm sure Southampton is still there some.
All right. Great.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Dave, just as an update, I think you're aware, but we have a subcommittee in Shamong that's looking at the EMS issue. And we've met several times, I think 3 or 4 times. It's an extensive meeting.
One time with a successful meeting, I think.
Yeah, and now we are meeting, we have a meeting scheduled, I think, with the mayor of, which is not confidential, with the mayor of Tabernacle next week.
It's Thursday. So in 2 days, we're meeting with Mayor Barton and the township administrator.
Yes, sir.
Sounds like.
Just wanted to give you an update.
Progress.
All right, great.
Good.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you. Appreciate you. Okay, so that is the end of a long meeting. You can leave now if you like. We won't be upset, but thank you very much for coming, Rob. So now we're going to go to public comment. If anybody has any public comment, please come on up, state your name, just be respectful of your neighbors and the time, and you will be heard.
I was going to come and talk. Denise Ashworth.
Hi, Denise.
Shamong, hi. All right, I'm data center girl. I'm very against AI data centers, and there is a difference between a data center and an AI data center.
So are you in favor of AI?
No,
Centers?
not at all,
Okay.
not at all. Very
So
much
you're in
against
favor
them.
of the action that we took tonight?
Yes, but here's my question.
Yes, ma'am.
A non-permitted use. Non-permitted use. Okay, so you said that doesn't mean no one, people may apply. So it would be an application. So what is the difference? Okay, so is a non-permitted use a ban? And if it's not a ban, what is a ban? So if indeed someone comes to you and says, I'm from Techno Land and I want to do da-da-da, and I would like to apply. So you can't say no, or a non-permitted use will allow you to say, no, you can't apply. So tell me your difference in definition ban as opposed to this, and what would prevent you from saying no, period, ban?
Doug, this is a layup, known as a layup question.
I hope you're right. A lot of people are calling these bans, right? It's a common parlance way of saying like, that's what it is. But in the municipal land use law, you don't write in your ordinance, we're banning, you say it's not a permitted use in any zone. Again, I want to be clear because some towns have not done this, and I think it's a mistake. We are of the position sitting here today, it's not currently a recognized or permitted use anywhere. So if somebody came in tomorrow before this ordinance is adopted, our zoning officer would deny a request for a permit, for example, if they thought they were permitted use, or tried to submit an application saying that they were a permitted use. That would be denied or told that they have to reconfigure the application to seek what's called a use variance. This ordinance just makes it clear that, the use didn't exist when we first adopted our zoning ordinances. Now that this use is a recognized use, we're recognizing that the use exists, and we're saying it's not permitted anywhere in the township. In simpler terms, it's a ban, right? Under New Jersey law, we regulate, for example, we have residential zones, we have commercial zones. When I talk about these issues with like students and stuff, if we all think, Wawa's great, but in the right location. So if somebody came into your residential neighborhood and said, I want to put a Wawa in the center of a subdivision, we would all have a problem with that, right? That doesn't mean that people can't file an application. Everybody has due process rights to still spend their money and file an application. It's not going to be a very strong application. The Wawa would get denied. This ordinance, again, I think it would be a very heavy lift already. This ordinance makes it even a harder lift. We're recognizing the use. We're stating all the negatives associated with that use. We're making it very clear that we recognize this is an existing use out in the world now, and that we're saying it's not permitted anywhere in the township. So for somebody to come in now and apply and say, okay, but we know you said that, but we still want to try and put one in, and we think we've got the right piece of property because it's far from any residence, or it's this, or it's that, or whatever the issues are, it's going to be even harder after the adoption of this ordinance than it is today. So again, using the mayor's language, it's belt and suspenders, but in very simple terms, it's a ban. But in technical terms, it's not a permitted use anywhere in the town.
When would the ordinance be approved and firm?
So we have, under the law, we introduce an ordinance. We do an advertisement process to give notice under the statutory requirement. This gets referred to the land use board for what's called master plan consistency review, and then it comes back to this governing body on August 4th. Same time, same place, 7:30 here. And we will have a public hearing and adoption that night. And then once we publish the notice of that adoption, the ordinance goes into effect.
And does the people that come here, forgive my ignorance here, I don't know.
It's okay.
the law, but if the people come here on August 4th and all in agreement that we want this ordinance to pass, the gravel hits, boom, it's done, it's done. Is that
It's done.
correct?
It
Like
becomes
the public-
part of the code.
But we have a say-so to say.
Public hearing is the intentional part of the ordinance. If you want to come and support the ordinance and make comments as to why you think it's necessary and appropriate that the ordinance be adopted, that's your time to do it. It will be part of the record. And if any future legal action happened, that would all be part of the record.
Itself, did you adopt the one that was a generic one from Pemberton, or do you
Uh,
have
we-
your own in your own language?
We drew from the model, what I'll call the model ordinance that has been floating around.
Right.
I made some additions to it to what I feel has strengthened it and make it specific to some of the issues associated with Shamong Township.
And we have access to your.
Yes, it's public record now.
Where.
So you would go to www.shamong.net. That's right on our homepage. You're going to click on public notices. It's a link right on the homepage. We no longer have to advertise in the newspaper in most cases. So that's where our advertising is going to be. There's a logo that you can click on. In there, you'll find it. I'll make sure it's up tomorrow. And if anybody has any trouble seeing it, you can just email info@shamong.net and I'd be happy. Or you can stop in and get a copy. Of course.
Thank you, Denise. Thank you. Thank you,
Thank you.
Solicitor. Very good job.
Thank you.
Anybody else have any questions or comments? Yes, sir, Frank. Good evening, sir.
First, Frank Hoffman, 39 Winchie Road, Shamong. Resident here in Piedmont for 25 years, starting my 26th year in about a week. First, I want to thank you all for adopting Resolution 79 and 80. Both of those properties are in my neighborhood. One of them is right next door to my house. I've been reporting this. I've been the one contacting the township for at least 10 years, if not more, about 37 Wheatsheaf Road. So I appreciate, you guys doing this. I did email, all of you and the township administrator about 2 or 3 weeks ago about this. So I appreciate the quick action. One thing I want to add with that, and I had this in my email and I refer to the solicitor. New Jersey has what's known as the Abandoned Properties Rehabilitation Act, which allows municipalities for properties exactly like the one on Wheatsheaf Road and the one on Bunker Hill Drive. It allows the township to condemn those properties, take those properties, either sell them to a flipper, rehabilitate them, whatever the case may be. Both of those properties meet the criteria of the law. Okay, they are, they're for the abandoned property, there's a series of criteria. You don't have to meet them all, you just have to meet one of them. And you don't have to be in arrears on your taxes. If the property is a nuisance, okay, or in need of rehabilitation, it qualifies under the act. I believe, and again, I'm not an attorney, but my township that I work for since 1985 does this, Evesham Township. I believe you have to amend your land use laws to permit you to do that. But I urge you guys to do this. These homes are in such bad shape, they are definitely impacting property values of my house and the people that live around it. And to the point where at some point in time, if this were to continue, anybody that is around those houses can file for a tax appeal, municipal tax appeal, and appeal our property taxes on the assessed value of our property because of the conditions of those homes. Okay, and I was a town administrator. I know the problems that tax appeals cause, and I don't want to see that happen. Okay, but I'm asking you guys to really consider that. If nothing else, if the township does that and flips those houses, there's some additional profit into your budget because those houses have been there forever. If you flip those homes, you're gonna be able to sell them for a decent amount of money. So I would just ask that you consider that. And again, I really want to thank you for adopting this resolution.
You're welcome, Frank. Now, number one, can you take some photographs, just 1 or 2 pictures of each? You do
Yeah,
that safely
sure.
and send them over.
Oh, we have pictures.
You have them already?
Yes,
Want to
yes.
go on their property.
Yeah, don't go on the property.
The biggest problem with the one next to me, 37 Wheatsheaf, is they planted bamboo in their yard. Okay, as you all know, I'm sure you're all aware, the state of New Jersey banned bamboo. You cannot plant bamboo in the state because it is so insidious and invasive.
How long ago did they do that?
It's been there for years. So if you were to look at the house now, they had a swing set, a wooden swing set in their yard for the child. You can't see it anymore.
Got
The
it.
bamboo is covered about a quarter of their backyard. The problem is there's a little wooded patch between my yard and theirs. The bamboo is up to my township, is up to my property line and has been in my yard. And it's the house behind me, the house behind them, and the house on the other side of them. I now have to have, because I just had my septic replaced and my drain field runs in that direction, I now have to have a barrier put in.
Yeah, 3
Where I'm
feet
gonna
down.
have to dig down, I have a contractor gonna have to come in, dig down about 3 feet, fill that with concrete to keep that bamboo from coming into my property. And there's nothing I can do about it. So I'm really asking you people to do this, it's ridiculous, it's been well over 10 years. that
Got
this
it.
has been-
Doug, would you put that on your list as something to look into, and Lisa?
Yes, I'd be happy to. I apologize. I have a big note to follow up with you. I was going to give you a call tomorrow, so I'm really glad you came and gave this additional information. Yeah, we're by what I'm understanding in the ordinance, I've assisted Sue Honorado in the previous years to go forward with the property maintenance and getting the township committee to approve the contractor to step in and do the maintenance, the general cleanup. They go in after spring of every year. Once it's approved, they do an initial cleanup and then they follow up with the cuttings. But I understand it's not solving anything. The 37 wheat sheaf, they have not paid a substantial amount on what they owe the township. So I do believe if it's still not paid, it will finally be eligible for the tax sale to get a lien on it. You always have to wait after the close of a year into the next one. So I think 54 Bunker Hill wouldn't be eligible until 2028. So we can definitely see if there's any other options.
About a week ago, there was a raccoon about that big climbed out of the chimney. So it's from what I don't go into their property. There's holes in the side of the garage, there's holes in the side of the wall, and from what I understand, there's a large hole in the back of the house, because at one point in time, about a year or so ago, the troopers came out because kids were going in there and partying. It's only a matter of time before there's a fire or something out. So
Thank you,
again,
Frank.
I appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Anybody else have any questions or comments? Anastasia, welcome.
Good evening, Anastasia Zakara, 1 Stony Creek Court. So I'm here not only as a resident of Stony Creek, but also on behalf of the Beautification Committee, which is a volunteer committee in our development. It started way back when Bob Meyer developed the community, and it was to keep the common areas, the entryways looking pristine and planted and whatnot. The committee had they are volunteer, so they do a solicitation once a year. 70 some odd homes in our neighborhood. Roughly half of the residents are contributing to this fund. And as costs are rising and becoming increasingly more expensive, it's more difficult for the beautification committee to keep up with this. So they reached out to the corner properties, which we are on. 1 Stony Creek is a corner property, as well as the other corner properties, to see if we would then assume the responsibility of maintaining the entryways. We all keep the community beautiful and pristine, so it was a no-brainer. Of course, we're going to do this. However, the issue is that on Stowe, on the left-hand side, if you will, that runs with the soccer field, that is township property. And Molly Davis, one of the committee persons, had brought it to my attention last week, and others on a call, that the beautification committee has been absorbing these costs roughly since 2018. I think they reached out to the township when they saw that the Department of Public Works was no longer doing this, and it was, okay, we're just going to have our landscapers doing it. Well, that landscaping contract, which is the most expensive for the committee to run each year annually, will come to a close. I think it's paid up until the fall. So I just wanted to get ahead of it, and I told them that I would be here tonight and bring it to all of your attention. If you could just get it on their radar and their schedule, that this is going to be dissolving. They're not going to pick this up with, their landscapers aren't going to be doing this anymore after the fall. And if they could do that for us, it would be great.
So you're referring to the strip of property on Stowe that goes from the ball field up to the
Right on the left. Yeah. And I don't know the
That's
address,
township,
but yeah.
that's township property. So that's something that we should be mowing and taking care of the trees there.
Yeah, I can definitely speak with the Public Works Director. I'm not familiar, but if I'm not sure, I'd be happy to send them out and take a look.
Okay. And then just real quick, if you're taking, estimates from other irrigation companies, we are and have been expanding our irrigation. We work with a great company. I'd be more than happy to share
Oh, yeah, that'd
our
be
company.
great.
They're wonderful.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Anybody else have any questions or comments?
wait till the end of this.
Hi, Judy.
Anisha Hinian, 102 Willow Grove. I just wanted to let you know that I did go to the Pinelands meeting and that was a pure joke. From the beginning, they told no public comment allowed. What are we there for? And the roads department took over the stage and we left shortly after because if we're not allowed to say anything, we were sitting there like dummies about, the intersection here. It was very unheartening that we weren't allowed to say anything. The road department for the county was there and they were allowed to speak and say what they're going to do. And when we left, the head of the road department had shared a few unkind comments to us about, told you you'd never win kind of comments. And I thought that was just ridiculous that I had to be confronted by this gentleman in the parking lot. We just got in our cars and left. Then I went to the county meeting about this and brought it up again about why they're not redoing a traffic study. And Tyler, who's on the board, very young gentleman, filled with words, let me know that a traffic study was done in 2025. Why don't we know this? That they did another traffic study saying that, yes, the same amount of cars are on this road that there was in 2018. I have a hard time believing that. And why didn't you guys know? Do you know that they did another traffic study?
I'm not aware of any additional traffic
Telling me
study.
they did another one.
Yeah, and they said before the Pinelands on the open record when we both spoke, and a lot of us spoke, that the last traffic study was done in 2017. So their own people have indicated that.
Yeah.
So that would be.
And this was this gentleman, Tyler, that's on the board. I really don't know what his position is, but he is really angry about this specific intersection, that this be done immediately, that they've been sitting on it too long. And I said, but if it's not needed and there's intersections that have fatalities, I don't understand why something couldn't be shifted to where there's fatalities versus accidents. And he said that the money is allocated for that corner and that corner only, whether it's needed or not is going to be done. That just bewilders me.
Yeah, they should be looking
And
at
forget
Flying
the
Road
people that-
and 206 is where they should be looking.
Exactly. And there's another intersection in Pemberton that people were at the county meeting about complaining. I just don't get it though, if it's not needed anymore. And he said because they'd have to refund people money that they've already spent and they don't have that money to give back to the state. That just doesn't justify something to me though. Now because you spent some of that money you got, you can't pay that back. What kind of service did we get for that?
It's all about the money.
Oh,
Judy, did they mention how much it was going to cost? Was there any talk of that?
Of how much the intersection's gonna cost?
Yeah, the circle.
Well, I think it's up to 3 million at this point.
Yeah, originally it was 20
You're
million.
right, I know, and I brought
Then they
that up,
said
and
2
you said-
million,
right.
and they've not adjusted towards, the property that
And
they're
what
taking.
amount did you spend of this,
Yeah.
that you're so adamant that you
I just
couldn't-
wondered if they had mentioned it to you.
Not to me directly, it was stated.
Now, one more question. You said you had an attorney that was going to file an appeal. And it was an appeal filed of their decision?
Not from me directly, financially to do it, no.
Got it. Okay.
It's just, I just don't understand the logic of it. This is gonna happen because you can't pay back what you've paid out for this already. How does that justify needing to do this?
It doesn't. I mean,
Very
there's
frustrating.
no circle at Oakshade and Indian Mills Road. And there's 10 times more cars there. And
But
there's
it's
very
these
few
properties
accidents.
At Addison and 206, many. How do you explain that you shouldn't use that money for that intersection versus this?
Agreed.
And he said, well, because, it's allocated for that intersection and that's where it's got to be spent. I said, well, then reallocate it with the state and have something done. It's not going to happen. They're going to do it whether it's needed or not and spend the money. And they don't care who they're impairing, whether it's you, me, or the gentleman across the street. It just doesn't matter. And there's no funding going to be given to us for lost value of my home because I'm going to be sitting on a circle. I was not told this when I bought my house. And now, this is what I'm stuck with. How do I ever sell? How can I even sell now? I have to, it'll be told to them, rightfully so. And who's going to buy a house on a circle? It's just very upsetting. And about an appeal, I mean, I can do that on my own without an attorney, but I don't know.
Yeah, I think the time
I don't
period is
think they
over
care.
now for the appeal.
No, yeah.
Okay.
I believe that there's a traffic study website that you can go on to and see the county and state traffic studies. I've pulled them myself. I'll see if I could find it.
I'd be happy to, I was just gonna add also, if it's not on there, I can just, I can try to Oprah it from them and then I can add it to the website and I'd be happy to give you a call as well in an effort for transparency.
Yes, sir. Good evening. Yes, sir.
Good evening, Marcelo Ramotti, 1400 Old Indian Mills.
Welcome.
Regarding this subject, I wasn't going to comment because it's past history now. I did reach out to Assemblyman Angelosi and Assemblywoman Katz, received a call from Angelosi saying that this is a subject to take up with the Burlington County, which I had done. I did receive a phone call from the county with approximately the same message. This is a done deal. It's paid by the federal funds. We're not going to we appreciate the Shamong members' concerns and particularly the mayor, but this was approved in 2019 by the board and the county is now going to start flip-flopping a few years after because of the delays that we had for COVID. So therefore, they said, thank you so much for your interest, but this is a safety issue, it's not a traffic control issue. We consider that the circle is going to be a small circle. It's not going to be like the one that we see in Red Lion, but it's going to be there and it will force everyone to slow down and negotiate the intersection. So it's a safety issue. I mentioned also that there hadn't been any accidents since the racetrack closed. And said, well, yes, and I don't have the statistics, but this individual said that there was very many accidents on that intersection, and that's why they were moving forward with that project. Much we can do anymore.
All right. Well, thank you for sharing. Thank you for going and participating and for bringing us up to speed as to what you learned. And
yeah, and they said it's federal money, and they didn't give me a number.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. Anybody else have any questions or comments? Good evening.
Good evening. Brian Tadero, 2 Liberty Circle.
Hi, Brian.
I have 2 requests for updates and then a number of comments based on some of the agenda items. Is there a status update of the Dingletown grant from last year?
Yeah, they're going to be bid in the end of July for construction in the planting season, starting mid-September to mid-October is when we want to do construction.
So you do realize that there's fall baseball for rec and
We'll coordinate that with them.
Okay.
We've been over time.
Yeah, I don't know how you're gonna do that because you're gonna have 2 weeks that the fields can't be used after they do their construction of the fields. That kills the season. The season's very short.
Well, we can adjust it. The planting season is not just 30 days. They'll have a little bit more wiggle room there.
Okay.
Brian, what are the dates of the fall schedule? Do you
So
have
we
those?
start in September and we go until the middle of November for travel baseball. And I think rec is starts in September and ends sometime in October.
Okay, and when you say are you which organization?
I'm president of Seneca War Eagles. So the
Warriors, yeah, okay. You heard my comments then earlier.
Oh, I did.
So we'll get together and we'll sort things like this out.
The other thing, as you know, the batting cages between Old Carp and Baker were damaged in the storm. Is there any reason that we're not putting that through insurance versus lumping that into the grant fund?
This last storm over the weekend?
No,
Oh,
this
I'm
was the
sorry.
winter storm, the snowstorm that we had.
No, it was already on the grants.
For the one, I thought the ones by 2A and Foster were part of the grant.
The ones that are under the canopy?
Yes.
Yeah, they are in the grant.
Okay.
Those are in the grant.
Yeah, the ones over between Baker and Old Carp were not in the grant, is my understanding.
I can go back and look and then I can get back in touch with you.
That'd be-
Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't remember offhand.
No, and I know
Everything
that
kinda
grant
lumps
was
together.
specifically vague
Yeah.
to begin with. The other thing, and Mr. Woods, thank you for your comments back to me, after my response to last month's township meeting about the garbage. Is there anything being done with that metal box that contains all the garbage that's behind the garbage cans?
Yeah, that I don't know.
So Public Works employed by Shamong has never taken care of trash. We don't do trash service. So it is the IMAA's responsibility to remove anything that's not in the dumpster being taken out by the trash service.
Okay. It's a huge metal container, so I don't know where that.
So it's not something that was issued to be used as a
It was
receptacle.
not.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with you. So that's just people littering, unfortunately. So that's not something that the township doesn't have the resources to do trash pickup, which is why we have the agreement that we do with IMAA. They receive a substantial amount of the Clean Communities grant, so that way they do trash pickup.
Gotcha.
So I think that's also a topic that we were looking to discuss with the IMAA to get ahead on some ideas on what we can do about the trash.
Right, on that,
That's what
and
people don't
yeah,
get.
we could either remove it, but is it something that if we put a lock on it, or you guys put a lock on it, you could store equipment in it?
No,
It's
it's not
not.
like that. It's basically just a container that has a shelf.
I
and
remember, okay.
Yeah,
I know what you're
it's
talking
nothing
about.
we can do, unfortunately.
Okay, so that's the issue, is the trash issue is big for us, because we realize that there are some people that either can't afford or don't pay for
Yep.
trash or whatever that are dumping there, and that's something, do we have our cameras up there?
So there are cameras. I just have to get over to the field. I have 3 new cameras in my office that Public Works is going to assist me with installing, and we just got the signs. So we're going to also hang some signs around the building as well as in the trash area that they're on surveillance. So they just came in yesterday. So they're just doing some additional storm cleanup, and then we're going to get over there on that.
And then if I could respond to some of the comments that you.
Yes, sir,
given.
please.
So Seneca War Eagles is a satellite organization of IMAA, so we're part of IMAA itself. Even though we're a satellite organization, in March, I sent a field usage agreement over to IMAA, just specifying, us using the field, what we would pay and what that fee would include. I have not heard back from them since.
Did they take your money, or they just never?
They did not take my money. So happy for that. But the last I had heard was that they were going to talk to STRA and potentially the township. So I've not heard anything back from that. So we have tried to proactively reach out to them about a field usage agreement. I think even though we're a satellite organization of them, it's important that we have one established.
I like that, and I think you should probably be part of the meeting that we're gonna have.
I was going to ask if that was a possibility as well.
So make sure we have Lisa has your contact
Yes.
information.
As far as tournaments go, we do notify IMAA of all the tournaments that we run through there. We do pay them a fee to run those tournaments. In addition, before each tournament, we let the state police, EMS, and OEM is not currently on the list. But we do let the fire department know as well. Is the committee requesting notification of those events in the future?
I think go ahead.
What fire department you notify?
You
don't get it.
Indian Mills, he says.
Whatever the Indian Mills number is, that's out there.
So
I could get your information. Maybe we'll set something up.
maybe it's going to Vincent Town.
Could be.
Yeah, okay.
The snack stand can't be used to serve hot food, as you know. We can only sell drinks and packaged food out of there. I've asked multiple times what exactly needs to be done to bring that snack stand up to code so that we can use it. All I was given was the original report that came out from the health department that did not say what needed to be done. So if someone could help specify what needs to be done, we can look at what we could do to help raise funds to get that snack stand back up and running, because it would be helpful for us when we run tournaments to be able to.
Yeah, if you have that report, ship it over to Lisa if you would. Sure. And then also you might want to make a call up to the health department and see if they can give you some direction as well.
Yeah, can we look into that more? I just think it would be a really good thing for the community. I've been saying this for a while. I think it would bring in money too, and just a nice thing to give the kids. before and after their games.
It would be health department as well as separately fire safety at the state level.
Okay.
Because there's a difference between food handling and food preparation. Because we've looked at this in Indian Mills as well. I've run into similar questions and solutions about fryers, smoke suppression systems, Ansel. That's completely different than sinks and food handling and sanitation. So there's two agencies.
All right, so Brian, right now you can have cold dogs.
Fantastic. That'll work, right? So as far as I know, the township does not do anything to make the infields playable. They do the grass, they do the sprinklers. Every spring, our volunteers are out there doing field prep, getting the fields ready for the season, as the grass and the weeds tend to overrun those fields every single year. They spend hours. Without those volunteer efforts, those fields would not be playable for rec, War Eagles or Pirates. This year, we actually paid for all the infield dirt for the complex out of our own budget, which was used to fix the infields. The registration fees that we charge are much less than any of the other travel organizations or club teams in the area. We keep our fees low so that we can have that community engagement and everything. It is a big commitment to do travel. It is more expensive than rec, but we try to keep it as low as we can. Everything that we make goes into sending teams to tournaments in the area, outside of the area, field supplies and equipment, paying for umpires. Umpires have gotten very expensive as of this year. Our administration fees and putting money towards our contingencies so that we have money if anything happens to come up. And then the only other thing that I had was if I could be part of that meeting that you're going to have with IMA.
Yes, sir. Do you guys have insurance?
We are insured through IMA because we're a satellite organization.
All right. Anybody have any questions or comments? And thank you, Brian. I want to thank you for all those issues.
I do. How many children are Shamong residents?
I'd have to go back and look. I think we have currently 110 kids right now enrolled in the organization. I don't know what the breakdown is. We do pay IMA a non-Shamong fee per kid that is not a Shamong resident.
So do Shamong children play for a less fee?
We don't pass that fee on to the kids. We pay the fee out of our organization to IMA.
So the additional fee that you have to pay for somebody out of Shamong, you guys absorb?
We absorb it.
And you take that from your tournament that you take from the fees?
Potentially, yeah.
Okay.
What would you guess would be?
I honestly couldn't even guess right now.
Is there an active rec program going on now this year?
We did have I believe there were a few rec teams. Quickball was very, very popular this year. I don't know how many actual other rec teams, like majors or minors or rookies, that they had.
And are you involved in that, or would that be our IMMA?
I am not involved in that currently.
Would you like to be?
Potentially.
All right.
We'll see.
All right, great. Thank you, Brian. We appreciate your comments.
Thank you.
Okay, unless I hear from anybody else, we'll close the meeting. I don't see anybody coming up.
Bill Ryan, 1 Stony Creek Court. First, Doug, thank you for your persistence on Bighorn and that. I'm still trying to get clarification. I know I bothered you at the store the other day, but for the record, is that going to be a community solar project? Has that been confirmed? Or are we still in limbo?
I don't have an answer, but I will have an answer for you in August.
Good, thank you. Lisa, congratulations on that.
Thank you.
You're well. But the other question is, I was looking for this township budget. I'm assuming it now will be posted
It is already posted.
because it wasn't there a couple
Oh.
hours ago.
Yes, it has been posted since the day or two after we had introduced it. I'd be happy to show you on the screen.
There's the resolution. I saw the resolution, but didn't see the full
Oh,
line by line
yeah.
budget.
No, so if you navigate to our departments and boards,
Yep.
right under financial records and budget, you'd click right on here and here's all of the information. So this is our 2026. After the budget introduction, I put the date on there so you can differentiate that it hasn't been adopted yet. So there's two versions. There's the user-friendly budget. It's about 20 pages. And then the township budget is about 80 pages.
I was looking for that.
Yes.
User friendly is not.
No.
I've heard that, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. All
You're
right, the
welcome.
last thing we have for tonight is we have an executive session which is planned, which is going to be a meeting regarding attorney-client and a personnel issue. If we, I don't know if we're going to take any action or not after the meeting, but if we do, we will come back out. If anybody wants to stay, they can stay. Let me just say, I appreciate so many people coming out. And I'm happy that we survived this great storm the last couple of nights and everybody is happy and healthy. And we're a little sad about the soccer game last night. All right, do we have a motion for adjournment, please?
Motion to
You want-
approve, yes, approve resolution 2026 R-84 for executive session, attorney-client personnel.
Motion.
Second.
Thank you.
Mr. Southwick?
Yes.
Mr. Woods?
Yes.
Ms. Mazitis?
Yes.
Mr. Diamond?
Yes.
And Mr. DeCroce?
I vote yes. Thank you, ladies.
Yeah, absolutely.
We want to.
We're
Yeah.
back on the record. We just had an executive session on a personnel matter. Direction was given to Ms. Jordan and myself relative to follow up on that, and there's no official action to be taken at this time. And with that, we can have a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Megan. All
Anybody
in
say?
favor?
Oh,
Aye.
all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you, Doug.
All right, guys. Have a good night.
Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, everybody.